Will here, how much did you and he discuss that dynamic? I mean, I worked for my dad growing up for a while, and there were some pluses and some minuses.
Yeah, you know, really not a lot, just because we've just had an unbelievable relationship his whole life. We've always been very close. I've coached him in baseball for several years. I helped him with his basketball team. I've coached him in camps every summer since he could walk. I haven't really gotten involved in his football stuff other than just really being dad. But you know, I think it's special because, again, it's really not an issue. You know, he knows me, and trust me, he knows that when we're out here on the field, I'm coach, and I'm gonna help him get better, and he'll be just like everybody else, jump in line and go compete, and you know, that's just the way it is. But he's excited. He's excited about being a Clemson Tiger. This is his dream, and very few young men get the opportunity to achieve their dream, and it's just special to me to watch him, because I'm just telling you, and I've done this a long time, and I've never recruited anybody that's worked harder to make his dream happen, and to prepare himself to be the very best he can be, and it just really, in all areas, I mean, it just really makes me proud, and he's just you know, I don't know, he's got a 4 point something. I don't know, you know, just unbelievable. I'm just really proud of him.
You got a pretty good quarterback here, and well, two of them in this class, but Hunter obviously at the top of a lot of recruiting rankings and stuff. How, having gone with Deshaun and seeing him come through and compete, you know, pretty much from day one for a starting job, how prepared do you think Hunter is for really challenging in that competition this spring?
Yeah, I have no idea. You know, I don't ever assume anything. I really don't. I mean, I think that he's got an incredible skill set. You know, as talented a guy as we've signed, I don't think there's any question about that. But you know, you got to just go to work. I mean, and that's what Deshaun did. When Deshaun came in, we had Chad Kelly, and I mean, we had Cole, we had guys, and he just kind of jumped in line and went to work. And we thought Deshaun was going to be pretty good, but he had some developing to do physically and all that. But all you can do is just go through the process and then evaluate. You know, there's so much that goes into it, and we've got to get some water under the bridge before I can really evaluate that. As far as just his potential, off the charts, tremendous. I mean, he's got a great arm. He's a lot bigger than Deshaun was coming in. He's bigger, heavier, you know, but he's got the skill set. But how does it translate? You just never know until you start coaching a guy. So I just think you make a big mistake as a coach when you just assume those things. I mean, he's got a lot to do. Now, I see him working. He's one of those driven guys, highly self-motivated, and it's very easy to notice that. But how does he translate? How does you know, once we start getting the installation going, how does he process it? How does he transition to the speed of the game and with the decision making and the size of everyone and the timing and you know, in high school this is your margin for error. In college it goes to here, and in pro it goes to there. You know, how does he transition? I don't know until we get out there and go let him compete. But he certainly will have that opportunity this spring.
Coach, you've been trying to explain for the last few years how good of a football conference the ACC has been. Now with the performance in the bowl season, you're finally getting that recognition from the media. Several have anointed the ACC the best football conference in the nation this past season. How much easier does that make it when you go into the homes of recruits, especially here in the Southeast?
Well, I think it changes the narrative that you know, for years everybody's tried to kind of force down everybody. You know, it's kind of, you know, that kind of goes away a little bit because, and again, the reason we've been so successful in all those big games, whether it's SEC, Big 12, Big 10, is because of two things. One is the people that we have here, how we practice. You know, what we have to go against every single day. You know, number one, that's really the key when you have that type of competition on your practice field every day. And then the second thing is the league we play in. I've said it for several years. And again, just look at the draft. Look at the national award winners, the defenses that we've played. So we just have not been overwhelmed by anybody. And you know, again, there's a lot of rhetoric that gets thrown out there that sounds good, but it don't always match up, you know, not to recent history. You know, you look at the last 3, 4, 5 years, you know, you can just see where this league has just transformed. It's a tremendously competitive league. You better bring it every single week. It's deep, 11 bowl teams, and I guess we were, what, 8-3 in the bowl games?
11-4 overall.
What was it?
I think it was 11-4, or 11-4 versus the SEC, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so head-to-head against the SEC there, I mean, it's just, that's really all you need to know. It doesn't really, nothing else needs to be said, but it doesn't mean we're the greatest league or anything. It just means that this is, I mean, you know, how you measure all that stuff, I mean, maybe from year to year it fluctuates, but I just know this league has been very competitive for many years now. You know, having been in the SEC for 13 years, and now in this league for 14 years, I have I think a pretty good gauge of what it looks like. And man, this is great coaching, great players, and you know, it's awesome to see our league have the success that it's had over the past few years.
Who are some of the guys in this year's class who you think can make an immediate impact this year?
Yeah, you know, I think that first of all, when you start talking about those things, you got to look at need. You know, sometimes you got guys that make an impact simply just out of need, because you may be thin at a spot or something like that. And then the next thing is just, you know, maybe just where they are physically. You know, sometimes guys come in and they're just physically ready, if they can grasp on mentally, then they have a good opportunity. Like a John Simpson, for example. I mean, goodness gracious, he just physically so gifted. He was able to, you know, he didn't become the starter, but man, he made some unbelievable progress throughout the season, and I'm just really excited about that. So sometimes you have a little bit of, you know, of that, but just looking at this class, I think first of all, speaking of need, running back. We got 3 running backs on scholarship this spring, so whether he's ready or not, he better get ready, you know, because there's a big need. I mean, so that's just kind of, sometimes that's the way it is. And then you look at the physical aspect of it. So you look at a guy like T. Higgins. I mean, Mike Williams just walked out the door. Here's a 6'5" guy that we've had in camp. We have good working knowledge of as far as the skill set. You know, it's the same thing with Amari. Artavis is going out. Amari is a strong, tough, physical young guy. You know, can they grasp it mentally? We'll see. And I think, you know, those 2 guys have a chance to jump in there, and you know, obviously one of the quarterbacks could certainly get in the mix. I don't know if both will play. I have no idea. There's just no, you know, our thing is come in and we tell them all, come in and prepare to be the guy. If you don't come in here prepared to be the starter and win the job, you're cheating yourself and you're cheating the team. So that's how we challenge all these guys. But I think you look over at the defensive line side, there'll be a couple of those guys. You know, we got 2. You know, we'll see how that all plays out. But these are 2 physically gifted young men. They're not guys that, you know, are lean for the position. These are some physically developed young guys that I think will have a chance. And then you know, we've got some really good players returning the secondary, but the length of LeAnthony and AJ is a little different. So, you know, we got to go and evaluate all that stuff and see how it plays out. But all of them have a chance to make an impact. All 14 of them. We just gotta see how it plays out. And then, as I said earlier, Will, he's got a chance to make an impact as our holder. Right? Nobody wants to talk about that, but I'm losing sleep over Seth being gone and T's gone. You know, it's not often you lose your first and second team holder in the same year, because we've been pretty solid right there. So, you know, I'm thankful that he's got 5 years of good experience doing that.
Coach, over the last, say, 8 or 9 years, has the message ever shifted from come help us build this to maybe help us maintain this or help us keep this championship level? Has the message shifted a little bit?
Not really. The message is just, you know, come be great. You know, come be a part of you know, something special. And you know, we lay it out. This is who we are. This is the way we do things. You know, come and you know, be a part of it. buy into the overall daily grind of what we do and how we do it here at Clemson. But it really hasn't changed much. I mean, it hasn't had to. I mean, certainly winning the national championship, that's really the only, I mean, we had a lot to sell. I mean, it's not like, I mean, we've done everything multiple times. So we've had a lot to sell to these guys, especially academically, to go along with the success on the field. So now, you know, winning the championship just kind of, I think, just makes the conversation even better, but it hadn't really changed a whole lot.